In this WrestleTalk news, two former WWE stars announced their shocking retirement from wrestling, how WWE tried to block AEW's New Japan deal, and Ollie's going to be here reviewing last night's Dynamite episode, so stick around for that. Subscribe and enable notifications to Always On for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Now, it's rare that wrestlers ever step away from the industry at the height of their powers. I mean, look at The Undertaker. He was stumbling from one last match to one last match, searching for a swan song to go out on. Somebody should have kept his coat and hat when he left them in the ring and then not given them back to him. It's like, no, think about it, Taker. Think about it. So it came as a bit of a shock when two former WWE stars who have been making it big in Impact since their release announced that they are stepping away from in-ring competition indefinitely. Because in a joint statement with Impact former Knockouts Tag Team Champions, the Inspirations, formerly the IIconics of WWE, said they are moving on to start a new chapter in our lives and explore other opportunities that may come our way. As for what the pair might be doing with themselves, Cassie Lee posted to point to her pinned tweet, which says, "I'm going to be the lead in a rom-com one day," suggesting that a move to acting is now on the cards, though I would happily just watch a series about them harassing Kenta, like a sort of punked thing, but with Kenta, because that stuff was funny. Speaking of Kenta, we'll probably be seeing him on AEW screens again soon, as AEW and NJPW build to their Forbidden Door event in June. Now, the relationship between the two companies has been built slowly over the last few years, but as we've already found out, Tony is not the only Khan who tried to court New Japan. Because Nick Khan of WWE had a little pop, and had they been successful, they would have been the exclusive US business partner for the promotion and would have cut AEW out. And in a brand new article, Sports Illustrated have confirmed all of this, saying that they found out that Nick Khan opened up lines of communication in an attempt to appease and keep Daniel Bryan in WWE, because he had made his desire to work in Japan clear, and that was a major factor in his free agency come the end of his contract. SI also learned that Tony Khan had found out about WWE's interest through some trusted contacts, but New Japan officials stressed to him that working with AEW was their priority. The New Japan officials even encouraged the promo that Tony Khan cut last May about there only being room for one Khan in wrestling and not some con man from Connecticut. This can't ain't be enough for the both of us. I am surprised that NJPW didn't set up some sort of Highlander style. There can only be one battle to determine which Khan they wanted to buddy up with after that little bit of manipulation. It's almost time to hand over to Ollie, but just a quick note about last night's Dynamite, which according to Dave Meltzer had to be heavily rewritten due to Hangman Adam Page getting COVID. Earlier in the day, Page announced that his face was full of COVID snot. That's my champion, and he would not be appearing. But let's find out what actually went down as we hot tag to Ollie.
Now it's time for my review of AEW Dynamite. In about 5 minutes, yes I dabbed, the show started on AEW's real opening credits. CM Punk's entrance, where he was on commentary for the first contest of Dax Harwood versus Cash Wheeler. Why FTR? Why? Why? FTR came out as a tag team despite being opponents to a huge pop from the crowd. It felt like a huge deal, and they smartly worked around the trap tag partner matches often fall into. This wasn't based around a blood feud or them falling out in the actual bout. Dax even apologized for an accidental thumb to the eye at one point. It was just two bestest best wrestler friends wrestling to see who would win on this occasion. The finish played right into that first Dax thumb to the eye spot, with him second guessing his usual gamesmanship and hesitating to lock on the sharpshooter on Cash's injured knee. This was where I screwed up my line, so I'm re-recording it in a WhatsApp voice note. Dax ultimately rolled him up and won. They immediately embraced and posed with the belts. Don't you dare go Ciampa and Gargano on me, boys. With Hangman Page testing positive for COVID, it was left to a match graphic and a CM Punk promo to announce they'll be fighting at Double or Nothing for the AEW World Championship, which was actually totally more than enough. Punk cut an awesome promo while walking around the ring, just putting over various things he could see. Dax and Cash, you're amazing. The AEW locker room, I've never been part of one better. The match graphic, look at the composition. Lamp. I love you, Lamp. But in the end, he's betting on himself at Double or Nothing. The Blackpool Combat Club then beat QT Marshall's Dark Club in a trios match, with Wheeler Yuta getting a big hometown pop every time he tagged in. Christian suddenly got super mean in a backstage promo, telling Jungle Boy he sounds like a loser after, Well, losing last week, and to put his title over his shoulder where it belongs. We'll talk about this in the car home. He made an open tag team title challenge, which was answered by Team Taz. MJF had a glass of white wine with his popcorn for Wardlow versus Lance Archer. He's a man of class and refinement. He then told a joke about your local women team, saying Philadelphia ladies use their personalities as birth control. The cheap heat worked exactly the way it was intended, with the crowd cheering Wardlow in lieu of his entrance music to get one back at MJF. Wardlow and Lance Archer was a brilliantly fun big man clash, with cannonballs off the apron, Wardlow hitting a running Hurricane Rana and a beautiful Swanton Bomb, and him getting the fiery win off a Powerbomb Symphony. It's just a shame it came at Archer's expense, who's just become a guy you chuck in someone else's feud to get a short-term win over. Wardlow kicking out the blackout once a super protected move and a throwaway spot felt like a waste too. MJF later revealed Wardlow's next opponent is stronger and taller than him, and you can't teach that. Isn't Enzo like 5'6"? The Jericho Appreciation Society then held a classic sports entertainment segment, with a table and chairs in the ring that nobody used, and Cool Hands Angelo Parker calling the crowd the AEW Galaxy. The rule was that nobody could get physical, so Eddie Kingston just did that thing where he starts genuinely threatening to murder people, and this time, while doing so, pretty heavily admitted that he's murdered someone before. Boy, that escalated quickly. Later in the show, the JAS jumped LAX backstage and Jericho hit a fireball on Kingston. Hadouken! All this would be much better if the trios match hadn't already happened the other week, but this was a really good next installment for their feud. In the latest rubber match of their feud that started off amazing, got both women insanely over from out of nowhere, and then AEW just didn't really do anything with it for 4 months, Serena Deeb took on Shida in a Philadelphia street fight. Unfortunately, this feud has lost most of its heated momentum from when it started 6 months ago. And Shida didn't really sell her leg despite that being the focal point of the match. The weapon spots were fun, both women worked hard, and the near falls were good, but this fell far short of what it could have been with a better story. Deeb made Shida tap in the Texas Cloverleaf, setting her up for women's champion Thunder Rosa, who was watching on backstage. The House of Black were then about to unmask Fuego del Sol when a cloaked Alex Abrahantes appeared in the ring cutting a promo. They ran down to attack him, but then Penta walked out on the ramp, followed by Pac, followed by a still talking Alex Abrahantes. I'm seeing double here. Quattro Alex Abrahantes. The figure in the ring awesomely unveiled themselves as a returning Rey Fenix, making Death Triangle now a 3-sided shape again. They brawled with House of Black, who seemed to revel in the new challenge despite it actually being a relatively old challenge, with these two factions feeling stuck on a treadmill with each other since last summer. Speaking of the House of Black stuck in the same feud, Julia Hart's still doing the emo eye patch thing. Julia, I think Malachi's forgotten about you. She was at ringside for assorted AEW Young Boys versus the Undisputed Elite in a 10-man tag. This was more of an angle told through 5 minutes of in-ring wrestling rather than an actual match, neatly telling the story of the Young Bucks not getting on with Red Dragon, the Bucks having to win the match by themselves, but then dutifully tagging in their leader, Adam Cole Bay to get the win. The only thing he did in the entire match. The heels all put on Undisputed Elite t-shirts at the end. I'm sure everything is now totally fine. And the main event was an insane ladder match for the TNT title, with Sammy Guevara defending against Scorpio Sky. Suplexes on the ramp, leapfrogging off a ladder mid-air cutters, a Spanish fly onto a ladder covered in barbed wire, Dan Lambert getting kicked in the dick, Paige Van Zandt and Tay Conti brawling, and a huge pop for the title change, with Scorpio Sky winning back the belt. This was a heady mix of hardcore wrestling and sports entertainment goofiness. In isolation, this was so much fun and a great reaction for Sky, who the crowd were avidly rooting for to win. But it poses the interesting question, were they actually cheering for Sky to win, or cheering for Sammy to lose? Because there is a difference there. Despite his babyface offense and selling, Sammy's performative arrogance makes him a very easy heel to boo, which is why I feel there's a lot more mileage left in the heel Guevara champ tank. It's also the 5th title change in 4 months, making the belt increasingly feel like a prop rather than the supposed world championship equal it was originally pitched as. American Top Team celebrated afterwards, and Kaz came down to set up Sky's first challenger. What did you think of AEW Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. Punk vs Hangman confirmed, the FTR match, Rey Fenix returning, Fireball! A great ladder match and title change, this was a very newsworthy show. As a standalone episode, it was fantastic, but I feel like a lot of the stories leading into it aren't fulfilling their fullest potential right now. This week's Dynamite is 81%. Speaking of fulfilling their fullest potential, Andy Datson, I'm calling you out, boy. The WrestleTalk news. Tomorrow, come meet with me and the WrestleTalk elders and your reckoning. And also go watch last night's Quizzlemania Forbidden Board, which saw Team WrestleTalk take on Team No Rolls Barred.
That's a choke slam. He said a choke slam, he said a stunner.
Okay, now take an elevator down.
The whole thing.
You're trapped in a box. You're trapped in a box, all right?
Yeah, maybe ride an escalator down.
Andy, don't you dare.
Or maybe shark attack. Do a shark attack.
Andy.
Del Boy for a second part.